Let's go!
What really stood out was having that kind of versatility in the run game and the passing game.
Bauer Sharp commits to LSU. Comment below, do you believe he will have a Mason Taylor type of impact on the Tigers next season? This is a very interesting player who in this Tennessee game made some ridiculously difficult catches. Then we get to hear he does a really good job of recognizing zone coverage and finding a pocket of space and being a good big target for his quarterback. Look at this. Really good ball location. This is the second quarterback in this game, and he's able to make this one. Good job by the QB getting rid of this football really quickly, seeing that it's zone coverage. And once again, Tennessee playing very soft at this point in the game because, well, it's a blowout. But look at this. He, after the catch, does break tackles, right? That's a really good job to fall forward for a few extra yards. So at the end of this video, I will share one very important fact that is very important when it comes to discussing this Oklahoma offense. So you see Jackson Arnold, he actually started this game, looks off to the right, works back to the left. I'm not sure if he needed to jump for this ball, but he did. And look at this run after the catch ability. Makes this guy miss. 9 is one of the hardest hitters you will ever see in the SEC. Falls forward for an extra 5 here. Really, really, really good stuff. So we take a look at his overall numbers this past season. 40 catches. He was one of 4 SEC tight ends to get 40 catches. So Bauer Sharp, one of 4 SEC tight ends to have 40 catches. You know, on this rep, you would like him to be a little bit bigger here on this in-breaker. It's a good play by the DB, if we're just being honest. But, you know, 40 catches was a lot in this bad Oklahoma offense. Now, there is a little extra asterisk that I want to include into that. But at the same time, he was also very unlucky. There were instances like this where you see that the Tennessee DBs, they had actually been a really good red zone defense this year. They were trying to switch this off. The corner says, hey, I'll pick up Sharp. You pick up the inside receiver. And it's miscommunicated. They both actually go to the inside receiver, and Sharp is wide open here. So this should have been a touchdown. He only had 2 touchdowns last year. I have no idea why Hawkins didn't just throw this to him for an easy wide open touchdown. So there was a lot of instances where he was missed, and when this was one of them. So Oklahoma's most impressive road game was the upset victory over Auburn. And, well, Bauer Sharp was amazing in this game. As you can see, this is a huge catch and run. Ball hits him right in the chest. But the thing I want you to see is the yard after catch ability. Now, of course, he was wide open here, but the speed to run away from a fast linebacker here and keep his feet shows you some tackle breaking ability. The problem was this play was wiped out due to an offensive pass interference penalty, and it was a good call. All right, I want LSU to add this play to their playbook because it's a play that nobody can stop, and the Kansas City Chiefs have mastered it. Tom Brady and Gronk really brought it to the NFL, so that's from my NFL channel, Power Hour NFL. So you're acting like you're blocking, but you're actually throwing the football to the tight end on a little screen. Notice everybody is, to the left side here. You're looking left, and you're working backside here. And here's the thing that happens. 70 right here, 78, 79, has an easy block to make. All we need you to do is just get a piece of 35, seal him to the outside, but he just whiffs him. Okay, so now this should be a big gainer, but Sharp has to make a miss to turn this play into something. And what does he do? Well, he throws him off of him, okay? Kind of allows the effort from 35, but take a look at this. I mean, get off me, bro. It's really, really, really good stuff. So this happened some of the time for him this past year where teams really focused in on him because, well, he led the team in receptions. He kind of became their guy. And you'll see that he is drawing 2 defenders here in the back of the end zone. The thing is, this should have been thrown here to the left side into the flat. Once again, this is a true freshman quarterback. Throw it into the flat, you're probably scoring. But instead, this is part of what Sharp had to face last year. All right, so Oklahoma scores on a 2-point conversion here. The score is 22-21. This 2-pointer counts, okay? Now, this ends up being a scramble touchdown, but on a had-to-have-it play, Garrett Nussmeier would have thrown this ball to Sharp for the huge 2-point conversion here, okay? So you'll see he's running an in-breaker here, does a good job creating some separation, and look at this. He does a good job getting into the body of this DB to make him think he could be running it out, and bang, he gets off of him, and right here, this ball should have been thrown. Now, it's difficult because, there's an umpire right here, but this ball, throw a top shelf right there, that is a 2-pointer. But, of course, Hawkins, he does eventually roll out here to the right side and scores a 2-point conversion. Freaking-ridiculous stuff. And come on, I got to show this. I mean, this was redunculous. And he did get in. Worth the highlight. Who cares about a boring throw over the middle? His only 50-plus yard game was this one versus Ole Miss. And this is a case for all tight ends. So much of what you do is based on coverage bust or leaks at the tight end position. So, yes, he is wide open, but it's because of his versatility, you're able to get him wide open, right? There, he is a tight end, but he was actually lined up in the backfield as a personal protector, and he picks up a nice gain here. So, LSU's going to miss Mason Taylor the most when it comes to these 3rd and 4th and mediums, right? That's basically his legacy as an LSU Tiger. These had-to-have-it kind of plays. And right here, sits at the sticks, gets over into this window for Arnold to throw, catches it, and then falls forward, right? If he would have been stone cold stopped right there, he's not getting this first down. That little turn allows you to move the sticks. So his only power forward touchdown came in this game. Now, I will be honest. It is so hard to score touchdowns when all the other receivers for Oklahoma are hurt. So one very important thing to remember about Sharp is he kind of became the go-to guy, which is what he won't be at LSU. So it was a very weird offense. You see he pushes this guy off of him, finds the open space here. They're running mesh over the middle. You could see Ole Miss picks it up pretty quickly on this 3rd and medium. So this is a good job by Arnold working all the way to the back corner of the end zone and seeing Sharp wide open, okay? So Sharp leaks out right here, and this is a really good throw, but an even better catch, right? He almost leads Sharp too far, and take a look at this toe tap right here. Catches it at its highest point, 1, 2, bang. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. So right here, he gets unlucky not once, but twice. You'll see him at the top of the screen right here playing a DB with inside leverage, okay? It is hard to beat a DB with inside leverage in the spot, okay? But guess what? He beats him over the middle, and this should have been another touchdown. But there was a lot of pressure, of course, on the left side. So he gets unlucky here. Arnold then makes a really good pass rusher, and Princely missed twice. Okay, baggy undershirt. I've never understood it. Now, we get to here, and he's open again for a touchdown. Arnold takes the shorter throw right here. It's a really accurate throw for a touchdown, so that should have been 2 tutties for Sharp. Once again, the better plays on tape for him are routes over the middle, which is where Garrett really likes to throw the football. Outbreakers, not quite the same type of effectiveness, but still pretty solid, as you can clearly see here. Alrighty, so this is going to be a big part of LSU's offense next season. Play action fake, and guess what? If they're playing quarters, you got to hit them over the middle, and that's exactly what they do here. This was a painful offensive game from Texas, and he has to catch that football with an umpire right in front of him. All right, first in Valonia, and Texas is just putting it on Oklahoma. One thing to keep in mind when it comes to Sharp's production is this offensive line was just atrocious. Really, really, really bad. And there were quite a few instances where the pressure would just be in the face of a quarterback before Arnold could, or Hawkins could throw him open. Now, this is some really good stuff here from Sharp. You'll see, obviously, the tackles are getting beat, and this ends up being a sack, okay? Now, watch what happens here. He is running an over route, okay? So from here on this 1st and 20, you can see he's running an over, and then he sees that there's nowhere for him to go on this over, right? Inside leverage, there's a safety right here. So he finds the open spot right here, okay? Obviously, Travis Kelce is the GOAT at this.
I sold up in booze.
So, obviously, if you had better protection, maybe you could find him open. Also, these kinds of things are better with chemistry. So, that's just not going to be the case just right off the jump with Garrett Nussmeier. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows when it comes to him as a receiver. You know, some of the production was because of the lack of receiving options, right? So just by default, you're going to get more targets if all your top receivers get hurt. Then there were opportunities like here versus Alabama to make this catch. This is a very difficult catch because the throw wasn't good. This is honestly a really bad throw, all things considered. Anything over here, you are scoring a huge touchdown. Now, still, you would like to see the tight end be able to track this ball and make that catch. Alrighty, so this is a weird negative to bring up, but it is the negative plays. I mean, this guy has been involved in some absolute disasters for Oklahoma. All right, it is 2nd and New Roads. And if you do the smart thing right here, you could make it 3rd and manageable. Instead, he makes it 3rd and Shreveport here, cutting all the way back for no reason whatsoever. You're not outrunning this Ole Miss defense, and this becomes an absolute disaster. So you have to be smarter. So here's Brian Kelly talking about Sharp, and let's have an honest conversation about blocking.
You know, if you watch him closely, I mean, some of the things they did with him in the passing game, you know, we've seen from other tight ends, right? But if you really look at his body of work, it's the physicality in the run game. Pulling, you know, blocking tackles, out on the perimeter. Love his physicality in the run game. Still, you know, a very good athlete. Came in as a quarterback, you know, at Southeast Louisiana, and certainly has the ability to do some really good things in the passing game for us as well. But I think what really stood out was having that kind of versatility in the run game and the passing game.
So now we get to the spicy portion of today's video. Am I going to push back here on Brian Kelly when it comes to Bauer Sharp as a blocker? Well, I will tell you that when this quote actually hit social media, a lot of the Oklahoma fans and media laughed at Brian Kelly because they think he is a terrible, terrible, terrible blocker. I don't know if I'd go that far. Now, why am I qualified to talk about this? Well, on Power Hour SEC, that's why this breakdown is so deep. I had so many plays already stripped here because I did an Oklahoma film study, I believe, on 8 of their 12 games this year, something like that. So I have watched a lot of him, and there are reps like this where he doesn't have to block anyone. And then there's reps like this where you're going up against Tennessee's really good defensive line. Look at this pass set. He gets low right here on this little RPO, and he gets a really nice base going up against a pretty big dude. And obviously, in this spot, you just want to try and get this guy down as quick as you possibly can. And that's really, really, really good stuff. But it's Jackson Arnold, so you know he's going to miss a receiver. All right, let's go back to the Auburn game. You get a little bit of a sugar huddle where you're hurrying up to the line of scrimmage. One thing I will say is if you're getting ready to block down, the one thing you want to make sure you don't do is give away that you're getting ready to block down on this seal, right? Because there are a lot of quick pitches out of Tripp's bunch to the Tripp's bunch side with the running back. So it's not as important because this was a sugar huddle and you're just running to the line of scrimmage, you're just running a play. But you don't want to give away that you're sealing this guy. You see, he's looking directly at him. That can give away what you're doing, right? Because if I see that there is a down block right here, more than likely it's going to be a run or an option to the right side. You want to be careful with that stuff. But watch this block. He gets 96. I actually think this is Philip Blitty, the defensive tackle that LSU pursued. And look at that. I mean, that is redunculous. And that block opened up this ginormous chasm right here. Really, really, really good stuff right there from Sharp. So this is the very next play. Take a look at this. Now, once again, smaller edge safety linebacker type right here. Bang. I love the technique here. Look at this, keeping that base good, short, choppy feet, and watch. Bam. All right. Good low strike right here. And then he seals him to the inside. He's not allowing him to cross face. This should have been a hands to the face penalty to add on the end of this run. And he makes a big block right there. So I've shown you some really good reps, but the honest truth is he is wildly inconsistent as a blocker. You'll see him here on a second level block. He gets ragdolled, right? This is something that happens quite a bit to him. And what I mean by ragdolled is, as you can see, this is not the worst block in the world, but he does get thrown off to the side relatively easy as a blocker. Now, remember, he had the big block in this Alabama game to spring Arnold earlier that should have at least tied the game. So he had a really good block in this game. You just needed to be a little bit more consistent on a down-to-down basis. Now, I'm a little bit more lenient on tight end blocking because as a tight end, you're asked to do a whole lot. And in this offense overall, this unit really couldn't get rhythm with all the changes in quarterbacks. Here he is at fullback, and remember, at that quasi-fullback, he had a pre-snap motion and led the way. We now have an advantageous matchup, a nickel corner going up against a tight end right here, and we want to get this corner blocked here to the outside. Now, this tight end doesn't help the cause here. He's getting ragdolled. And look at this from Sharp. It's a little too patty-cakey, and he just misses him, and Jackson Arnold does a good job running through this DB for a first down, okay? In this Tennessee game, they asked him to do a lot of difficult perimeter blocking, and this play right here was really, really, really good stuff, okay? Look at that. Good job getting the hands inside the shoulder pad. They're never going to really call you for holding in that spot. You do want to let go a little bit sooner, but good stuff. But you also had plays like this, and I'll be completely honest with you. You can check it out on Patreon. This Tennessee game was not great for him as a blocker, and this was probably one of the bigger misses. This is just a massive loss when you're down 16. I mean, you just got to have more there. You just do. Now, once again, there is so much space, and you are going up against a quicker player, so this isn't the easiest block in the world, especially considering you're blind to where the running back actually is here. But once again, it's so hard. This block is really, really, really hard, but it does need to be better. Oh, what do we make of this? First thing, I do think LSU needs to bring in another tight end, just so you don't get into the same problem you had last year where one tight end is having to play all the snaps, which was the same problem for Bauer Sharp. And the thing that's really exciting for Sharp's vantage point is this Oklahoma offense was abysmal, right? Worst quarterback room in the SEC. Arguably the worst offensive line in the SEC. Arguably the worst set of running backs in the SEC. Arguably the worst set of receivers. Their top 5 receivers all got hurt towards the beginning of the season. So he's going to LSU. Obviously, our offensive environment is going through fluctuations, but the big thing is he's going to be playing with the quarterback who is really good at the thing that Bauer Sharp is really good at, which is in breakers. Now, obviously, this is a wheel to the outside, but still, I think him and GARRETT NUSSMEIER actually fit pretty well together. Overall, as you guys have seen, the down-to-down blocking needs to get better, and one big thing that needs to change are the disaster plays. I mean, he had some effort I'm going to do what I want to do kind of moments. And ironically, versus Ole Miss, they tried a double pass, and he did a good job eating it and not throwing a pick on it. But right here, you've just got to eat this really negative play and say you just chunk it up and you make Sage Ryan look like Ed Reed here. And that is where it's not what you want to do, right? I think Brian Kelly, with some good discipline, will get Sharp to not make those plays. And it goes back to all the stress on him having to make plays in an offense that didn't really have playmakers. So, as you can see, I'm really pumped up for him. Now, there are some plays that I cut out that are very concerning. Some are blocking, some are receiving. You can watch those, plus get my final God's Honest Truth grade on Bauer Sharp on our Patreon page. It is linked down below. I appreciate all the prayers and positive vibes sent my way. Obviously, crazy content schedule week. Please understand that, videos are going to be coming out at crazy times. But still, an overall good day. Let me just put it like that. I'm really excited that we're having him because he is a fun player, to say the least. And I do think as a year 5 player, remember, he was a 2021 redshirt, played 2 seasons at Southeastern. Year 4 and year 1 in the SEC, he went through all these growing pains. So I think I've seen enough from him to think that he could be even better next year. So don't listen to Oklahoma fans just rejoicing that he's gone. That's kind of disingenuous. We know at least he is a solid player, and I can't freaking wait to see what he's going to bring to the Tigers. Now, comment below your thoughts, and we'll talk to you soon. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom. And tonight, we are doing burgers. Let's go.